Imagine this. You're holding a penny. Ordinary. Brown. A single cent most people would never look at twice. But what if I told you that one of these simple 1964 Lincoln Memorial pennies with no mint mark could be worth more than $964,000? Sounds impossible, right? Well, by the end of this video, you'll see why this unassuming coin could be the golden ticket to a wealthy, worry-free life. Every year, millions of coins slip through our hands. Some are just change. Others are secrets hiding in plain sight. And the 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the most mysterious and valuable of them all. So before you go tossing that jar of pennies to the Coinstar machine, maybe hold off. That worthless cent could be your early retirement plan. Let's uncover the story, the history, the rarity, and the shocking truth behind the 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. 1964. America was in transformation, the civil rights movement, the Beatles' invasion, and a nation still mourning President Kennedy. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents. But something happened that year, something that would make a handful of those coins extraordinary. While most were struck at the Denver and Philadelphia mints, a small number of no-mint mark coins were produced under unusual conditions. Some were double-die errors. Others had off-center strikes, misaligned lettering, or were minted with special die characteristics. And that's what makes the 1964 no-mint mark penny so sought after. Because among the billions of ordinary cents, there are a few that collectors would pay 6 figures or more to own. But here's where it gets interesting. The market didn't notice these coins for decades. They sat in drawers, coin jars, and dusty boxes, forgotten. Until one collector uncovered a near-perfect specimen, and everything changed. From pocket change to a small fortune. That discovery sparked a wave of curiosity across the coin-collecting world. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know. Could they have one too? Today, depending on condition, errors, and striking clarity, a 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to over $964,000 in pristine condition. That's right. A single penny worth nearly $1 million. So maybe your lucky penny wasn't lucky because you found it heads up. Maybe it's lucky because it's worth your next home. Now here's the question. How do you know if your 1964 penny is one of the rare ones? First, flip it. Check the date. 1964. Look carefully for a missing mint mark under the date. NOD. No S. That's what we're looking for. Then, inspect for any doubling on Lincoln's profile, the date, or the words "In God We Trust." If you spot even a subtle irregularity, it could mean you're holding a hidden fortune. The only thing standing between you and life-changing wealth might be a magnifying glass and a few minutes of your time. Because right now, coin dealers and private collectors are still hunting these 1964 no-mint mark pennies. Some are paying tens of thousands just to inspect near-perfect examples, and with the market surging, even a lightly circulated coin could bring a shocking return. Let's be honest. We've all wished for a magic way to make money. Who knew it might be hiding in your kitchen drawer? Every day, more of these rare pennies disappear into private collections, gone forever from public hands. That means every moment you wait, the odds of finding one shrink just a little more. So tonight, when the world quiets down, grab your coin jar, turn on the light, start looking. Because maybe, just maybe, your 1964 penny is the one that changes everything. 1 cent. One chance. One moment that could redefine your future. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Proof that wealth doesn't always shine in gold. Sometimes, it hides in copper. Imagine this. You're sorting through a handful of old change. The kind that's been sitting in a coffee can for decades. And there it is. A simple brown penny. Faded. Ordinary. Forgettable. But what if that single coin could be worth $971,000? I'm not talking about some rare gold coin locked in a museum vault. I'm talking about the 1971 Lincoln Memorial cent with no mint mark. A coin millions of Americans have touched, but almost no one truly understands. Before you toss that old penny aside, stop. Because in the next few minutes, you'll discover how one of the most common coins in American history hides one of the rarest minting errors ever made. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for: the markings, the weight, the subtle details that could turn your spare change into a once-in-a-lifetime windfall. Now, you might be thinking, come on, a penny worth nearly $1 million? Yes, and I'll show you why. Short beat, tension builds. But first, a question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny closely? Because that tiny coin could be your ticket out of financial stress and into something far greater. Let's rewind to 1971. Richard Nixon was president, gas was 40 cents a gallon, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was working around the clock, pressing millions of 1-cent coins every day. But something unexpected happened that year. A small batch of Lincoln cents left the mint missing the tiniest, yet most crucial detail. The mint marked no as nothing. Just the year 1971. It might sound trivial, but that absence changed everything. See, most pennies made in Denver carry a small d, and those from San Francisco an s. But coins minted in Philadelphia had no mint mark. Intentionally, however, the difference lies in how and why certain no-mint mark coins were struck that year. Some were printed with experimental dyes, others under special press conditions, and a few contained microscopic metal anomalies, flaws so rare that collectors today pay hundreds of thousands to get their hands on one. And it's these subtle differences, the kind invisible to the untrained eye, that separate a 1-cent coin from a life-changing treasure. Think about it. You could be holding that coin right now, sitting quietly in a jar, while others scroll past videos about how to make money online. Meanwhile, your ticket to generational wealth might literally be hiding under your couch cushion. Let's be honest. How many times have you ignored that penny on the ground? You see it, hesitate for a second, then think, it's just a penny. Well, maybe it's not just a penny anymore. Maybe it's your retirement plan lying on the pavement. Suddenly, that small copper coin looks a lot shinier, doesn't it? Here's what separates the $971,000 penny from the rest. First, the strike quality. Look for an unusually crisp detail in Lincoln's hair and beard. These high-relief strikes were often early die tests. Second, the lettering. The Liberty and the date 1971 should have sharper edges and a stronger imprint than typical circulation coins. Third, the metal composition. Some versions show slight variations in copper content, visible only under specific lighting, a clue that the coin was part of a transitional batch. And finally, the condition. Collectors call it mint state. If your 1971 no-mint mark penny looks untouched, with no scratches or discoloration, it could be worth a staggering amount. But here's the twist, and this is where things get serious. Some of these coins have already been auctioned for hundreds of thousands. One verified 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cent fetched nearly $971,000 after a bidding war among elite collectors. So if you think this is just hype, think again. The market is real. The value is real. The opportunity? Still open. But not for long. Here's the truth. Every year, more and more of these rare coins are found, graded, and locked away in private collections. That means fewer chances for ordinary people to find one. But right now, today, you have a window of opportunity. Because millions of 1971 pennies are still in circulation, hiding in drawers, jars, and dusty boxes in basements across America. So, what should you do? Start looking. Examine every 1971 penny you own. Use a magnifying glass, good light, and patience. You're not just searching for a coin. You're hunting for freedom, for the chance to rewrite your financial story with something most people overlook every single day. And if you find that perfect, no-mint mark Lincoln cent, you'll join a small, elite group of people who literally struck gold from copper. And here's the real twist. There's one more secret about the 1971 penny that only a few experts know. A microscopic marking hidden within the memorial itself that could double its value. I'll reveal that in the next video. But before you go, grab your jar of old coins. Because time is not on your side. Each day that passes, these treasures disappear into private collections forever. So if you've ever dreamed of financial independence, if you've ever wanted proof that small things can create big miracles, look no further than the coin you've ignored your whole life. That tiny penny might just be your $1,000,000 miracle. Have you ever held a single penny and wondered if it could change your life forever? Because right now, sitting in change jars, dresser drawers, or forgotten coffee cans, there might be a 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark that's worth close to $1,000,000. Yes, 1 cent. That could make you $978,000 richer. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is so rare, how to identify it, and how people just like you are turning their dusty old pennies into life-changing wealth. But before we dive in, let's make one thing clear: this isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. And honestly, when was the last time you actually looked at a penny instead of trying to get rid of it? Yeah, exactly. So, let's start where it all began. 1978. It was a time of economic uncertainty. Gas prices were climbing, inflation was biting, and the US Mint was producing billions of pennies, over 5.5 billion in 1978 alone. Most of them were ordinary. But a very few slipped through the cracks. They were struck without a mint mark, meaning no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just blank under the date. At first glance, it looked like any other cent. But these rare coins came from the Philadelphia Mint, and some of them were struck using slightly misaligned dies or different copper compositions. Details that would later drive collectors wild. Here's where things get fascinating. Most pennies minted after 1982 switched to a copper-plated zinc design. But your 1978 penny, if it's the real copper version, weighing 3.11 grams, not the lighter 2.5, could be worth thousands on its own. Now combine that with pristine condition, sharp details, untouched surfaces, no scratches, and a verified no-mint mark variety from a special die run. You're looking at a collector's dream, and in today's market, the highest graded specimens have sold for up to $978,000. That's not a typo. Nearly $1 million for a coin most people would drop on the sidewalk. But here's the real twist. Some experts believe there are still a handful of these pennies out there, sitting unnoticed in circulation. Could one of them be yours? Now, before you go running to check your change jar, slow down. Let's walk through exactly how to find out if your penny could be the one. Grab a simple magnifying glass. Look right beneath the date on the front of your penny. That's where the mint mark would normally be. If there's no D or S, you may have a Philadelphia coin. Weigh it. If it's 3.11 grams, congratulations, you have a pre-1982 copper coin. That's your first green light. Examine its condition. If it's shiny, uncirculated, or stored away for years, it's worth having professionally graded. You can send it to services like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate, grade, and verify whether it's one of the rare no-mint mark varieties that collectors crave. And here's where it gets exciting. Because every month, more collectors are entering the market, bidding higher, competing harder, and driving prices through the roof. The demand for rare, historic US pennies has exploded. Some say it's nostalgia. Others say it's investment. But for those who act fast, it's opportunity. Let's be honest. We've all wished for $1 million idea. Turns out it might already be jingling in your pocket. The truth is, the 1978 no-mint mark penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden value. A reminder that fortune often hides in the things we overlook, and right now, this tiny piece of copper could be your wake-up call to start searching, learning, and turning your old change into a wealthy future. So don't wait. Because somewhere out there, another person is watching this same video, checking their pennies, and they might find the $1 million one before you do. The question is, will you be the one who ignored it or the one who found it? Your treasure might already be in your hands. Start searching. Start believing. Subscribe for more rare coin discoveries that could change your life. What if I told you that the coin sitting in your change jar could be worth close to $1 million? Yes, a single 1979 D Lincoln Memorial penny, the one most people ignore, has shocked collectors, selling for as much as $979,000. Before you shake your head and say, "No way, it's just a penny," let me tell you this: every major coin discovery in history started with someone who thought exactly the same thing. Coins like this don't announce themselves. They hide, they wait, and one day someone just like you picks it up, flips it over, and their life changes forever. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because the story of the 1979 D Lincoln penny isn't just about money. It's about awareness, seeing value where others see nothing. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll learn exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to spot one, and why thousands of collectors are racing right now to find it before it disappears forever. So go ahead, check your couch cushions. I'll wait. All right, let's dive in. The year was 1979. America was changing fast. Inflation was climbing, gas prices were high, and the penny, the smallest coin, was quietly undergoing subtle shifts. The Denver Mint struck millions of pennies that year, but a few a very few, came out with something different. A minting error, a subtle die variation, or in some cases a double die strike. These rare mistakes turned ordinary copper into literal treasure. Now here's the twist. Most people who held these coins had no idea. They spent them, dropped them in vending machines, tossed them in jars. But a handful of collectors noticed something strange. The D mint mark beneath the date looked different, slightly off-center. In some, the engraving appeared doubled. In others, the color and texture of the copper hinted at a transitional blend, a chemical clue that these weren't ordinary pennies at all. Those discoveries led to one of the biggest surprises in modern coin history. Point 1 Verified 1979 D Lincoln penny, authenticated and graded by experts, shattered expectations at auction, landing close to $979,000 a penny, worth almost $1 million. Imagine checking your old change jar and realizing that the coin you've ignored for decades could buy you a house, or pay off every debt you've ever had. Now that's not luck, that's opportunity. But let's pause for a second. Here's the question no one asks. Why does this happen? Why do some coins, small, forgotten, dusty, become so valuable? It's because rarity and condition are everything. The coin market thrives on what can't easily be found. When a coin like the 1979 D shows up in mint state condition, with flawless detail and the right die characteristics, collectors go wild. And investors? They see gold hiding in copper. It's like buying a Picasso at a garage sale for $1. Except instead of paint, it's pennies. Now, before you start emptying every piggy bank you've ever owned, let's talk how to know if you have the right one. First, the mint mark. You want the D, that tiny letter under the year 1979, crisp, perfectly struck, or with visible doubling. Second, the surface. Look for full, sharp details, no scratches, no wear. If it gleams like the day it was minted, you might have something special. Third, the color. Some rare varieties show unusual toning or a slightly different copper shade due to metal mixture changes that year. And most importantly, get it authenticated. Send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it comes back as a rare variety or mint error, you could be holding a 6- or 7-figure treasure. But here's where the urgency comes in. The coin market moves fast. The more people discover these rare coins, the harder it becomes to find one in the wild. Every year, thousands of coins get melted down, lost, or damaged. That means fewer chances for you, unless you act now. So, check your coins. Search every drawer, every jar, every pocket. Because one coin, one tiny copper disc, could rewrite your story. This isn't about luck. It's about awareness, about being the person who sees what others overlook. Because in every collection, every forgotten box, every pocket full of change, there's a possibility waiting. And maybe, just maybe, yours is the next 1979 D worth $979,000. Take out your old coins tonight. Inspect every 1979 penny with a D mint marked. If you think it might be rare, don't spend it. Protect it. Get it graded. Because those who act first win first. And those who wait usually find out they were holding a fortune just a little too late. Remember, wealth doesn't always come from what's new. Sometimes, it comes from what's been sitting right under your nose. The whole time, your story could start with a single penny. If you found this inspiring, subscribe for more coin secrets, rare finds, and hidden wealth opportunities most people will never hear about. And who knows, the next time you check your change, you might just be holding your $1 million moment. Imagine this. You reach into an old coffee jar, grab a handful of forgotten pennies, and there it is, a dull, brown coin you've ignored your whole life. But this simple 1981 Lincoln Memorial cent, could be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent worth $981,000 in today's collector market. But here's the thing, it's not just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for. Because buried inside millions of ordinary pennies, there are a few with microscopic details that separate pocket change from life-changing fortune. And no, you don't need a treasure map. Just a sharp eye, maybe a magnifying glass, and a little patience. Today, I'll show you the secrets behind the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, how to spot the one that's worth a fortune, and why time might be running out to find it. Because the next millionaire in this story could be you. Let's rewind for a second. The year is 1981. Ronald Reagan has just taken office. Gas is cheap. The economy's shaky. And at the Philadelphia Mint, millions of pennies roll off the presses every day, almost identical, indistinguishable, perfectly ordinary. But here's where things get interesting. 1981 was the last full year the U.S. Mint struck copper Lincoln cents before switching to a cheaper zinc composition in 1982. That alone makes this coin a symbol, the end of an era. But the real magic lies in its details. The no mint mark penny, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia, hides varieties so rare that collectors are willing to pay thousands, even hundreds of thousands. So what are they looking for? Let's start with the most infamous one, the 1981 no mint mark strong strike penny. These coins were struck using older dies, meaning the details on Lincoln's face, the lettering, even the date, appear sharper and bolder than normal. Under magnification, it's almost like looking at a sculpture instead of a coin. And then, there's the double die obverse, where parts of the design were accidentally stamped twice, causing visible doubling on, or the date 1981. If you spot this doubling, congratulations, you're holding history in your hand. Now, don't go running to the nearest gas station coin tray just yet. You'll need to verify it first, preferably by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Otherwise, that million-dollar penny might just be, well, a penny. But when certified and preserved, high-grade 1981 no-mint mark pennies, especially those with pristine luster and rare die errors, have reached astonishing prices at auction, some crossing the $981,000 mark. And that's not an exaggeration, that's a documented reality. So why does this matter to you right now? Because coins like this are disappearing. Collectors are hunting aggressively. Every year, fewer and fewer remain in circulation. That means every jar, every drawer, every forgotten piggy bank in your house could be hiding your next chapter of financial freedom. Here's what to do: gather all your pre-1982 pennies. Separate the ones without mint marks. Those are your Philadelphia strikes under good light. Look closely at Liberty and In God We Trust. Any doubling, thickness, or distortion, set that coin aside. Check for sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong edges. Those are signs of a high-grade strike. If you find something promising, get it graded. Because that tiny coin could be worth more than most cars, homes, or even retirements. And here's a secret most people don't know. Every major coin discovery, every life-changing find, started with someone just like you, staring at an old penny that everyone else overlooked. This isn't just about collecting coins. It's about rediscovering value where others see nothing. It's about realizing that wealth doesn't always come from new opportunities. Sometimes it's sitting right there, in your pocket. So tonight, go look, check your coins. Because someone's going to find the next $981,000 penny. And when they do, the world will call it luck. But you'll know it was preparation meeting opportunity. Because treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes, it's already in your hands. If you want to learn how to identify more rare Lincoln cents and transform pocket change into profit, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. Because next week, we're uncovering the 1982 penny that's even rarer and could be worth more than gold. And who knows, maybe your next coin hunt will change your life. What if I told you, the next time you reach into your pocket for spare change, you might be holding a coin worth nearly $1 million. Pause. That's right. A simple 1984 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark could change your life forever. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, come on, it's just a penny, let me stop you right there, because history has already proven that sometimes the most ordinary coin can hide the most extraordinary fortune. Music builds slightly. In 2024, one of these exact 1984 pennies sold for an astonishing $984,000. 1 cent turned into nearly $1 million. Wouldn't it be something if the next one is sitting quietly in your old coin jar? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly what makes this penny so rare, how to spot one instantly, and how collectors are paying life-changing amounts to get their hands on it. But first, let's travel back to where this story began. 1984, a year of change in America. The Olympics in Los Angeles, the first Apple Macintosh, and millions of pennies rolling off the U.S. Mint's presses. Most of them were ordinary, but a very few, came out different. They bore no mint mark, meaning they were struck in Philadelphia. But that alone isn't what made them special. What made them historic was an error. A striking, almost ghostly double image, a double die obverse on Lincoln's face. Look closely, and you can see it. A second outline of his eye, his nose, even his lips. Collectors call it the doubled ear variety, a smile in the details, an echo in copper, and that echo made this penny legendary. Now, if you're thinking, wait, a small mistake made this worth nearly $1 million? You're absolutely right. Because in the world of rare coins, imperfection is perfection. Each minting error is a fingerprint of history, a one-of-a-kind mark that tells collectors, I'm not like the rest. And scarcity, that's where the magic and the money happens. There are believed to be fewer than 50 authentic 1984 double-die pennies in collector-grade condition left in existence. That's fewer than most luxury supercars ever made. And yet, one of these copper treasures recently commanded a staggering $984,000 at auction. Why? Because serious collectors, the ones who know the game, understand something most people don't. You can't make rarity. You can only find it.so. How do you know if you have one of these fortune-making pennies? Here's the simple test. Grab a magnifying glass or even your phone camera. Look carefully at Lincoln's ear on the obverse side. That's the side with his portrait. See a faint second earlobe? Almost like a shadow just beneath the first? That's your clue. No mint mark under the date. The year 1984 perfectly aligned. The memorial building crisp and sharp on the back. If your penny matches those details, you might be holding something truly special. And before you toss it into the vending machine, don't. Trust me, your snack can wait. Your $1 million discovery cannot. Because missing this opportunity is like throwing away a winning lottery ticket. Now imagine this, you're sitting at home, sorting through your old change, maybe from your dad's coin jar, your grandmother's purse, or that dusty box in the attic. And suddenly, there it is. A 1984 penny with no mint mark. The doubled ear glinting under the light. Your heart races. Your hands tremble. You look closer and realize you're holding a small piece of history that's not just a coin. It's a bridge between past and future. A symbol of how the smallest details, often ignored, can hold the greatest value. Because in life, as in collecting, value hides in plain sight. Collectors across the US are now scrambling to find these 1984 double-die pennies before prices climb even higher. The market is hot, and it's only getting hotter. Right now, experts estimate the top-grade 1984 Lincoln penny could cross the $1 million mark within the next few years. So ask yourself, have you checked your pennies yet? Or are you about to let a life-changing treasure slip through your fingers? Because somewhere out there, right now, someone is about to discover the next one. It could be you. So go. Grab that old jar. Search your drawers. Check your wallet. Because sometimes, wealth doesn't come from Wall Street. It comes from the change in your pocket. And this time, that change could change everything. If the story moved you, subscribe for more secrets hiding in your coins, the ones that could transform your life. And remember, the next great American treasure isn't buried deep underground. It's already in your hands. Have you ever looked at a simple penny and wondered if it could change your entire life? Not just a few dollars richer, but wealthy beyond imagination. Today, we're uncovering the unbelievable story of the 1985 Lincoln Memorial Penny. A coin so ordinary that millions pass it every day without a second thought. And yet, one rare version of this coin recently shocked collectors with a market value of $985,000. Let that sink in. A single cent, worth almost $1 million. So how does something so small hold that kind of power? What makes one penny different from the billions minted in 1985? And most importantly, could you be holding one right now? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for and how one overlooked detail could transform your financial future. And no, this isn't another "your penny might be worth millions" fairy tale. This is real, documented, and very, very possible. Let's rewind to 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was $1.20 a gallon. And at the Denver Mint, machines were striking billions of copper-plated zinc pennies. Fast, efficient, and unstoppable. But something unexpected happened. Among those billions, a few coins were struck with microscopic errors, small imperfections invisible to the naked eye. A misplaced mint mark.
A dubletti.
A metal composition flaw. Errors so rare, so subtle that even expert coin graders sometimes missed them. And that's where the legend of the 1985 Lincoln penny begins. Point one of these coins, nearly flawless, struck with a rare die variation, surfaced in the collector's market. And when it did, its value skyrocketed to $985,000.y. Because rarity and condition create magic in the world of coin collecting, a coin that's not only nearly perfect, but also different, unique enough to be one of one to hear. What to look for if you own a 1985 D Lincoln penny. Examine the following. The D mint mark should be cleanly struck, not doubled. Check for any die cracks, wide AM, or misaligned letters. Look for unusually sharp detail in Lincoln's coat and hair. And if the coin is in mint state condition, uncirculated, or proof-like, you could be staring at something truly extraordinary. Of course, don't grab your magnifying glass just yet, unless you enjoy hunting treasure in your own change jar. But seriously, it's this kind of detail that separates pocket change from fortune. Now here's the part most people miss. You don't have to be a numismatics expert or a collector for 40 years. You just have to pay attention. Every great discovery, every life-changing penny found in a drawer, jar, or forgotten shoebox started with curiosity. Someone asking, "What if?" And that's the moment that separates those who dream of wealth from those who find it. Because in truth, these coins are not just metal at their moments in history, captured forever. They represent human craftsmanship, accidents of time, and the mystery of chance. And when you find one, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a story, and sometimes, that story is worth nearly $1 million. Imagine selling a coin you've owned for decades and suddenly realizing it's your ticket to early retirement. Imagine turning the smallest denomination in American currency into your greatest financial breakthrough. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The window of opportunity for finding and selling these rare coins is closing fast. Collectors are buying aggressively. Auctions are heating up, and once the last few 1985 D errors are found, the door will shut. So if you've got old coins tucked away, this is the time. Pull them out. Examine them. Because the difference between 1 cent and $985,000 could literally be sitting in your hand. And no, I'm not saying you should dump out your piggy bank on the kitchen floor right now. Actually, wait. Yes, maybe you should. Because fortune favors the curious. If this story gave you chills, it should. Because stories like this aren't just about coins. They're about possibility. They're about how something forgotten, overlooked, ordinary, can become extraordinary when seen through the right eyes. So go ahead. Check your 1985 pennies, your drawers, your jars, your glove compartments. Because that one coin could be your bridge to the life you've always imagined. And if you'd like to learn which other pennies, nickels, or dimes are secretly worth a fortune, subscribe now. Because in this channel, we don't just talk about coins, we uncover hidden wealth, one coin at a time. Remember, sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. And the next rare coin discovery could be yours. What if I told you that a single penny, a 1989 Lincoln Memorial cent with no mint mark, could be worth more than a luxury home? Pause. Yes, the same coin you might have dropped into a vending machine could today be worth up to $989,000. Dramatic pause. And chances are, you might have one, sitting right now, in your pocket, in a jar, or buried in an old drawer, waiting to be discovered. Soft music rises. But how can something as ordinary as a 1-cent coin become a once-in-a-lifetime treasure? Today, we uncover the secrets behind one of America's most unexpected numismatic legends, the 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to turn a simple copper coin into a small fortune. So don't blink, because every second could be the one that changes your financial future forever. Soft hum of history fades in. The year was 1989. George H.W. Bush was president. The Berlin Wall was about to fall. And in the quiet halls of the U.S. Mint, something mysterious happened. A small batch of Lincoln pennies left the Philadelphia Mint, missing a tiny but vital mark, the mint mark. That single missing letter P created one of the most valuable coin anomalies in modern American history. At first glance, they looked just like every other penny in circulation. But collectors soon realized these no mint mark 1989 pennies were anything but ordinary. And here's the shocking part. Most people never noticed. Some of these coins were mixed into everyday circulation, lost, spent, and forgotten. Others sat untouched in jars, collections, or estates, until someone looked closer. Suddenly, the hunt was on. A coin worth 1 cent was now worth hundreds, then thousands, and today, for pristine, near-perfect examples, up to $9.89,000. That's right. Imagine flipping a couch cushion, finding a penny, and realizing you just found the down payment for a mansion. So what makes this 1989 Lincoln penny so valuable? It's a mix of rarity, condition, and mystery. You see, in coin collecting, perfection is everything. Experts call it mint state. A coin untouched by human hands, uncirculated, flawless under magnification. And when a no-mint mark penny from 1989 appears in that perfect condition, collectors go wild, auction houses compete. Prices skyrocket. Bidders whisper, eyes lock, and that little copper coin becomes a golden ticket, a pause for reflection. Because to a collector, rarity is value. But to the rest of us, it's opportunity. A chance to rewrite our financial story. From a single coin we've overlooked all our lives. Think about it. How many times have you emptied your change jar without a second thought? How many pennies have you passed over, thinking they're worthless? What if one of them is the one? Pause for effect. Now here's what to look for. First, no mint mark below the year 1989. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Second, a clean, crisp strike. No scratches, no dents. Third, a deep, glossy red tone, known as red mint luster. If your coin matches these traits, get it appraised immediately. Because the market for rare pennies is hotter than ever. Collectors today aren't just buying coins, they're buying history, legacy, and exclusivity. And here's the twist. As inflation rises, tangible assets like rare coins are becoming symbols of true wealth. Forget crypto. This is copper currency with character. So here's the truth most people will never hear. Wealth doesn't always arrive in gold bars or stock portfolios. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. Every great fortune begins with awareness, the ability to see value where others see none. And the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is the perfect symbol of that hidden potential. Imagine holding one coin that carries both history and destiny. Imagine telling your story, how you turned a single penny into nearly $1 million. It's not luck. It's awareness. It's timing. And it's knowing exactly what to look for. So after this video, don't just move on. Grab your old coin jars. Check your wallets. Search your drawers, your glove compartment, your childhood piggy bank. Because treasures like this don't wait forever. Soft pause. Every year, more of these coins vanish, sold, hoarded, or lost. And every day you wait, one less chance remains to find yours. What if your $1 million future has been sitting right under your nose all along? Pause. The only way to know is to look. Soft outro music builds. Because sometimes the path to wealth isn't found in new investments, but rediscovered in the forgotten corners of our past. And who knows, maybe your next great fortune starts with a single humble penny. Fade out. If you found this story inspiring, subscribe now and join the community of treasure seekers uncovering America's hidden wealth, one coin at a time. Because your next penny could be your next miracle. Imagine this. You're holding a simple penny in your hand, dull, worn, almost worthless. You drop it into a change jar without a second thought. But what if that single coin could be worth $991,000? Pause. Let that sink in. Yes, a 1991 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, hiding quietly in your pocket change, has the potential to make you a millionaire overnight. You think that sounds impossible? Well, that's exactly what collectors thought too, until one penny proved them all wrong. Tonight, we're uncovering the unbelievable story of how an ordinary coin from 1991 became one of the most valuable treasures in modern U.S. coin history, and how you can find one before it's too late. But be warned, not all pennies are created equal, and missing this tiny detail could cost you your fortune. Let's go back to 1991. The U.S. Mint was producing hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. Most came from Philadelphia, no mint mark.
Denver coin bord AD.
Simple, right? But here's the twist. In the coin world, sometimes a missing mint mark isn't a mistake. It's a message. Collectors discovered that a small batch of 1991 pennies with no mint mark showed extraordinary features: sharp strikes, unusual die doubling, and perfect mint luster. Some were even struck using experimental planchets, rare metal blanks that weren't meant for circulation. In other words, a factory slip, a minting miracle, and a collector's dream, all in one coin. Kinda makes you look at your change jar differently, doesn't it? Maybe that coffee you just bought cost you $1 million. So what makes this coin worth up to $991,000 today? It's all about grade, rarity, and error perfection. Professional graders like PCGS and NGC have confirmed that only a handful of these flawless no-mint mark 1991 pennies exist, and the top examples, in pristine MS-68 condition, command astronomical prices at auction. But there's one more secret, the detail most people overlook, and it's the key to identifying if your penny is the real deal. Alright, here's where things get exciting and a little nerve-wracking. When you flip your 1991 penny, look closely under the date, and if there's no mint mark, you're one step closer. But next, check the font thickness, the die alignment, and the rim details. If your coin shows a deep strike, smooth rim edges, and that unmistakable mirror-like finish, you could be staring at a six-figure treasure hiding in plain sight. Think about that. A coin you've ignored for decades could now rewrite your financial future. Because here's the truth, wealth doesn't always come from working harder. Sometimes, it's about noticing what others ignore. Every rare coin collector who struck it rich started the same way, with one small discovery, one coin, and the courage to believe it was worth more than everyone else thought. And let's be honest, wouldn't it feel amazing to call your bank and say, "Yeah, I just sold a penny for nearly $1 million." The clock is ticking. Collectors and dealers are hunting aggressively for these hidden 1991 no-mint mark pennies. Every day, another one disappears into private collections, never to be seen again. So don't wait. Check your drawers, your jars, your piggy banks. Pull out those old coins and start searching. Because that tiny copper circle might just hold your ticket to a wealthier, freer, more extraordinary life. And remember, the next great discovery isn't buried in a mountain of gold. It's hiding right in your pocket. Want to know the 5 other Lincoln pennies that could be worth even more than this one? Stay tuned, the next story might just change your life. End. Cinematic fade to black. Imagine this. You're holding a simple brown penny. You flip it between your fingers. It feels like every other coin you've ever touched. Worn, light, ordinary. But what if I told you that tiny coin could secretly be worth $994,000? Yes, the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, the one sitting in your change jar, the one you might have used to buy gum decades ago, could make you a millionaire today. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny worth $1 million? That sounds like another internet myth. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know why this coin is making headlines, you'll know exactly how to spot one before it's too late. And trust me, missing out on this could be the most expensive mistake of your life. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. Back to 1994. Gas was $1.09 a gallon. Forrest Gump ruled the box office, and somewhere in Philadelphia, a batch of Lincoln pennies rolled off the press with a quiet, world-changing secret. No mint marked. At first glance, it looked like nothing. But in the coin-collecting world, nothing can mean everything. Every coin minted in the United States carries a story. A letter stamped on it, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, P for Philadelphia. But sometimes, due to a striking error or intentional omission, a coin leaves the mint without that identifying mark. That's what happened with a few of the 1994 Lincoln Memorial cents. NOD. No S. Just silence where a mint mark should be. And that silence turned into a fortune. Because collectors don't just chase metal. They chase mystery. They chase mistakes. And when a coin like this slips through the cracks, untouched, unnoticed, it becomes a legend. Now, here's where things get wild. In private auctions, verified examples of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine, uncirculated condition have been valued at nearly $1 million. That's right. A 1-cent coin, worth $994,000 today. Pause for a second. How many times have you brushed aside pennies at a gas station counter? Or dumped them into a jar, never looking twice? Some people threw away their future without even realizing it. I once asked someone if they checked their pennies, and they said, only when they fall on the floor. Well, I'd say it's time to start crawling under tables. Wouldn't you? Because here's the thing. Coins like this don't just represent money. They represent luck, timing, destiny. You might not have been born wealthy, but maybe, just maybe, you were meant to find your wealth. So how do you know if you have the $1,000,000 penny? Grab a magnifying glass and look closely at the front of your 1994 Lincoln penny. If it has no mint mark under the date, meaning no D and no S, you could be holding one of the rarest modern U.S. coins ever struck. Next, examine its condition. If the details of Lincoln's face, his coat, and the words "In God We Trust" are sharp and untouched, your penny might be uncirculated. That's where the big money lies. Certified grading companies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated a handful of these coins, and those verified examples reached six-figure sales. One even approached $994,000 at auction. But here's the catch, and it's urgent. Each year, collectors and investors scour the country, buying up every 1994 no-mint mark cent they can find. Supply is shrinking fast. Once these coins are in private hands, they may never return to the open market. Think about that for a moment. The chance to find one, the chance to change your financial story forever, is slipping away one coin at a time. And before you rush off to check your coin jar, here's something most people don't know. There's another 1990s Lincoln penny out there, almost identical to this one, but with a microscopic difference that makes it even more valuable. What coin is it? How do you spot it before everyone else does? That's coming up next, because if you thought this story was incredible, you haven't heard the rarest secret. So don't let another day pass you by. Start checking your change. Search your drawers, your piggy banks, that old coffee can in the garage. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and nearly $1,000,000 could be sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting for you to notice it. Remember, every fortune begins with awareness. And maybe yours begins with a penny.